If you can't kill a boss, no reason why you can't look like one. Moogle putting the wow in transmogs.
For those of you who don't want to go full pirate, you could go partial pirate with a set Wrathful Gladiators Leather Spaulders, Wrathful Lich King PvP vendor located in Dalaran, 3 marks of honor to get the shoulders. Keep in mind that the hands as well as the boots are all part of that Wrathful set. One of my favorite sets across the board for all classes. Hellfire Citadel to get the chest as well as the legs, but first, belt, World Breaker, waistband, Throne of Thunder Heroic, Radan is the boss, and kind of a fair drop rate to get that belt. And now the legs, part of the same drop set or tier set. This is a recolor actually of a Druid set from Hellfire Citadel. Archimon drops the Shade Fish, or if you want to say it right, Flesh, Laggards, 5% drop rate on those. Looking epic on a Night Elf dude. Wrathful Gladiators, Boots of Triumph, Wrath of the Lich King, PvP vendor, of course, in Dalaran. 2 marks of honor for those boots, which are definitely worth the pickup. Now, the cloak, you could go with the cloak that you see there, but first we're going to get to, well, we already talked about the hands. Let's talk about the cloak. The cloak is at a freehold. You could also go with the Blood Knight's cloak, which you could buy from Garrus and Shitrath. Works just as well with this set, so we got to talk about the head, which is super easy to get. Now, all right, here's the cloak. We're all over the place. Pirate Feather Cloak, Freehold, Heroic, Sky Captain Crag, decent drop rate, and the weapon, Unsharpened Ice Razor, Pit of Sarn, various mobs. Got to farm it. The more I look at this set, the more I like it, even though it's not traditional rogue colors. Mantle of Wicked Revenge, Temple of Ankaraj, Fankus the Unyielding, 8% of the drop rate to get those shoulders from Vanilla WoW. Now the chest, the bracers, and the legs all happen to be part of the Dreadful Gladiators leather tunic. Well, that's what the chest is called, but it's the Dreadful Gladiator set for the legs, the bracers, and the chest. The belt, Cord of Dark Suffering, out of Icecrown Citadel, normal 10-man, High Overlord Sourfang, kind of a fair drop rate to pick up the belt. Now we're going to show you the legs. We talked about the legs. Dreadful Gladiators, leather, Laggards, Mop PvP vendor, 3 marks of honor to get those. You can also craft the chest and the legs with your local leather worker, also the bracers, or buy it on the auction house, so you have a lot of options. Oppressor's Merciless Treads, Hellfire Citadel, Mythic Tyrant Velhari, 16% on the drop rate for those boots. Really like those boots. The wrist, Dreadful Gladiators, Arm Wraps of Alacrity, Mop PvP vendor, 1 mark of honor. Okay, let's move on. Next up, my favorite part of this set, which is the headpiece, Wild Gladiators Helm, WoD PvP vendor, marks of honor to pick up that headpiece, and the cloak. This is my favorite part, not necessarily the headpiece. Mantle of Victorious Death, or Dead. Yeah, great cloak. And the weapon, Wrathful Gladiator Shanker. Easy pickup. Kickstarting us off with the shoulders are Usurper's Blood-Caked Spaulders. Uldir Zul, 5% on the drop rate for those shoulders. Moving on to a crafted piece from Legion. So you're going to get this from Leatherworking or your local auction house. So super easy piece to get there. As well as this belt. This gets cheaper and cheaper as we progress into BFA. Eventually, they'll probably give you gold to take it. Firekin belt, Isle Expeditions, or check your local auction house to pick up that belt. Moving on to the legs, which are part of the same crafted set from Legion as the chest, Warhide pants, Leatherworking, auction house, go get it. Go. Easy pickup. Moving on to the boots, which kind of have that bronze look to it, as a lot of the pieces do here. Ancient Tempest Striders, Eternal Palace, LFR, Radiance of Ashara, 8% on the drop rate for the boots. Doing the spin, showing the cloak, but first the wrist wraps of Broken Trust, the Emerald Nightmare, Can't pronounce the name of the boss. 8% on the drop rate. Moving on to a Lady Nightborn, the headpiece. Warmongering Gladiator's Helm, WoD PvP vendor, 3 marks of honor. If you hoard, you're going to go wild to get that piece. Plasma Splattered Great Cloak, Uldir Vectis, 10% drop rate on the cloak. And the final piece is the dagger, which is Unsharpened Ice Razor, Pit of Sarn. Various mobs there, going to have to farm it. This is a little bit of BFA, a little bit of Legion, starting with the Battle of Dazalahar, LFR, King Rastakhan. Low drop rate for the Phantom Stalker's shoulders. Hard to match those shoulders, but I think we did it here. I do think we did it. The chest, Fang Slayer's chest guard, Tomb Sargeras, LFR, Maiden of Vigilance, kind of a low drop rate to pick up that chest. Moving on to the belt, which is part of the same tier set as the chest and the legs and the boots. Lots of stuff. Cinch of Sizzling Flesh, Tomb Sargeras, LFR, Garoth, 8% on the drop rate for the belt. Moving to the legs is next. Fanged Slayers, Leggards, Tomb Sargeras, LFR, Mistress Sazine, low drop rate, but worth it. Definitely worth it. Very roguelike. Love this set. Speaking of Dark Iron Dwarfs, Fellscape Pathfinders, Tomb Sargeras, LFR, Fallen Avatar, 10% on the drop rate, doing a spin, showing the cloak. Really like, there's a lot of cloaks you could go with this. But the hands, Gloves of Spiritual Grace, Battle of Dazalahar, LFR, Frida Iron Bellows, no relation to Dr. Bellows from the I Dream of Genie series from the 60s. The back, Parrot Feather Cloak, Freehold, Sky Captain Crag. You could go with the heroic version of this cloak as well, or you could go with, there's a drop, Way Guard Cloak, I believe it's called, out of Dressfar is another option. And the weapon, Shiv of the Uncrowned, Rogue Order Hull, purchased for 100 gold from the Quartermaster. The shoulders are from Wrath of the Lich King. A lot of tiers, PvP tiers from Wrath of the Lich King. This is the Furious Gladiator's Leather Spaulders. 3 marks of honor to pick those up. Moving on to another PvP tier, but this spins us forward to Mop. Prideful Gladiator's Leather Tunic, 3 marks of honor from your Mop PvP vendor. If you're Horde, gotta go Grievous. Moving on to the belt, this is a recolor of a Monk tier set from Legion, Belt of Fractured Sanity, the Burning Throne, Varamathras, love that name, 8% on the drop rate for the belt that is recolored for rogues. The legs, Prideful Gladiator's Leather Leggards, if you're Horde, Grievous, Ma PvP vendor, 3 marks of honor to pick up the legs. Moving on to the boots or the feet, Warmongering Gladiator's Boots of Victory, so you're going to have to do some PvP to get this set, which is going to piss a lot of people off, I'm sure. But it's not that hard, folks. Actually, it can be fun if you're in the right group at the right time with the right spec. Anyway, armbands of the Wari Lookout, Trial of Champion, Edric the Pure, to get those bracers. The head, Night Vision Mech Shades, WoD level engineering, check your local engineer or your local auction house for those goggles. And the back, Blood Knight War Cloak. I think I mentioned this cloak for another set previously in this video. That's the specifics of it. Mystic Wakener's Blade, Crocon, difficult pickup, but worth it. Get your snorkel and your flippers and head to the Eternal Palace Heroic for the Tidal Drifter's shoulders. I was going to say spaulders, but that would be wrong. It's the shoulders. I really don't know what the difference is. Doomblade Tunic, the Nighthold, Croesus is the boss. Kind of a low drop rate to pick up the chest, though. Actually, you could go with a different chest because basically it's hard to see under the tabard, which is intentional. Ship Swallower's Belt. Talk about a big mouth. The Eternal Palace Heroic Blackwater Behemoths, 5% on the drop rate for that belt. The legs, Doom Blade Pants, the Nighthold, Gul'dan, low drop rate. So the chest and the legs are from Legion. I have a Legion / BFA theme going on here. Speaking of BFA, BFA leatherworking, dredged leather boots, leatherworking, or your local auction house, so that's an easy pickup. The hands, gloves of Incomparable Beauty, Queen Azara, the Eternal Palace Heroic, And the back, this is the back piece I was talking about earlier that you can pick up for a different set if you want. Waycrest Guard's Cloak. The Tabard Rust Bolt Resistance Tabard Mechagon Rust Bolt Quartermaster Gold and Exalted to get that BFA Tabard. Mask of Artful Dodging, Rogue Order Hall, Mysterious Crate, 5% on the drop rate for that. It might be located in Dalaran, I'm not really sure. And the Black Blade of the Betrayer, Ice Crown Citadel, 10-man normal mode. This is Luxeley. I want to thank everybody for stopping by, and more importantly, leaving a like or a comment or just saying hello. And I'll leave you with this final thought. Whatever it is by you, whether it's morning, afternoon, or night, make your day epic.